Yeah.
You know, Stone Cold never went out and talked about WCW when he was on top.
I mean, look who our president is right now. It's acceptable to do stuff like
I know.
this. I don't think there's any better time for a wrestling promotion to be petty like that than right now.
I personally just want AEW to shine as AEW and not as, hey, we're not WWE. Just show me that, honestly.
Hey, Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
I know, and look where Genesis is. Womp womp. Now they're making games for Nintendo.
They're still doing what Nintendo don't.
No, they're doing Nintendo.
Well, they're making the games that Nintendo won't publish themselves. That's what I'm saying.
No, they're making games that Nintendo publishes. They're making games for Nintendo. Oh, good stuff. Anyways, that was a small little rant that we just had to get out of the way.
Hey, this is good news right here, though.
Yes.
Replacing Jim Cornette as NWA's color commentator is, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Stu Bennett, the former Wade Barrett. Man, wrestling has sorely been missing this guy since he took his leave. And even as a commentator, God, just his talking is amazing. He should have went to NXT. Or AEW. God, I bet Cody's like, fuck, why didn't I think of Stu?
Right? Yeah, they could use him.
Did you see that shit 2 weeks ago when Dynamite fucking pulled a fan to do commentary? And it was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, holy shit.
That was just awful. I give him
It
credit
was a fucking sign
it.
up at a pay-per-view, one of the free pay-per-views. They had a sign-up sheet. People could sign up to join this club that they've never advertised anywhere at any time.
No.
And they picked the worst guy out of the bunch. And you know there was probably 25 different podcasters that were in attendance that night at least.
Right.
They didn't screen him, obviously. It was awful. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm like, he better do good, you know?
Nope. Yeah.
Probably pissed his pants, I think. He definitely shit the bed.
Yeah, if he didn't piss his pants, he shit the bed. That's for damn sure.
Yes. But we're talking about NWA and Stu Bennett, and it's so much better than that.
Yes.
He will debut at NWA's Into the Fire pay-per-view. He hasn't wrestled since leaving WWE, instead focusing on acting and announcing. And I'm so happy for this.
You know what? That is his strong suit. I've never sat down and said, I love a Wade Barrett match, and I've never seen a Wade Barrett match coming up where it's like, I have to see this. But the man, that's why his best gimmick was Bad News Barrett, because it was him talking.
I'm so surprised he's not like a super famous actor. You know what I mean? Like, he should be up there with Cena and The Rock, I think.
He is great. He is great. This is what he was made to do.
Put him and Gerard Butler in a buddy cop movie? Fuck, dude.
Oh, you got take my money, please.
Euro Bad Boys.
Honestly. Yeah, this is definitely good news for NWA as Jim Cornette left a giant hole, no pun intended. And for better or worse, you know, Jim Cornette is not your or my favorite commentator, but he worked really well, as we mentioned on our last show, with NWA's old school 80s feel. It was his
Jerry Baree.
Yeah, it was his Jerry Baree.
Crafted and catered to him specifically.
But with the huge departure of Jim Cornette, it is awesome to get somebody who I feel will do a better job as an announcer.
Oh, yeah.
And not nostalgia.
Yeah, this is amazing, fantastic news.
And, of course, yes, Jim Cornette leaving NWA was a huge loss, but Pasty, something that may hurt me personally more is MLW has announced that the company has released Teddy Hart.
Oh, no.
This came out of nowhere, and of course, no other details have been given at the time of this recording other than a one-sentence announcement, quote, Major League Wrestling has come to terms with the release of Teddy Hart, unquote. So I think everybody listening knows about Teddy Hart, but hey, maybe you don't. Teddy Hart is an MLW original who started with the company back in 2004. And then when MLW relaunched in 2017 and started having weekly shows, Hart, who is a one-third of the very popular Hart Foundation, was last seen on the episode of Fusion following Saturday Night Super Fight, which was an amazing show.
Yeah. And
he defended the MLW Middleweight Championship against Myron Reed. Now, Myron Reed ended up winning the title after Contra Unit interfered. I have to put this note out here. Contra Unit has re-signed 2 or 3 members just recently, and we've been discussing that. So, wow. And something else of note, but doesn't really mean anything, I just felt it was worth saying, is that Teddy Hart's girlfriend, Maria Manick, is currently signed to Ring of Honor. Maybe he'll try to make his way over there, maybe not.
You think I almost wonder if he couldn't be the guy to turn Ring of Honor around. I think the rest of the Hart Foundation would probably need to go with him.
I think that this really hurts the Hart Foundation. I think that this kind of hurts MLW. I think the Hart Foundation leaving hurts MLW.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm a big Teddy
Didn't they
Hart
also
fan.
They also just lost Tom Lawler too, right?
Yes. But I do want to say one thing, and that is that Teddy Hart, you might want to put him up there with Alberto Del Rio and Austin Aries as somebody who always has a negative departure from a pro wrestling company. He has issues and demons that have been openly talked about by everybody, including Teddy. It's not being hidden.
I have always thought you could tell by the look on his face he's not a very pleasant guy to have to deal with.
Yeah, you have to assume. I mean, he was poised to be a huge breakout star in WWE, and he never made it past developmental because of his personal issues. And you have to assume for somebody with his recognition and name and at that part of the card to be gone, it had something to do with him being him. And I don't mean that in a super negative way, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of this other than, Cord Bauer had once said, I think when he first, at some point about Teddy Hart, he had said if Teddy Hart didn't have Teddy Hart's issues, Teddy Hart would have been a world champion years ago. And I think that just kind of sums it up. Teddy Hart is such a talented athlete, wrestler, performer, everything. The guy's got issues, and I hope he isn't a wrestling tragedy story. I hope he ends up becoming a wrestling redemption story.
Yeah.
But this isn't good for either Teddy or MLW, I think.
No, I don't think so. I don't think MLW can afford to lose too many more people. Every name is an asset to them, really.
I would agree. So they'd almost need to bring in another huge name to take his place, basically.
Well, I just gotta say, I think Hart going to Ring of Honor could be good because he can maybe steer that ship back in the right direction with some supporting cast. I also think he'd be a good fit for NWA.
Oh, he'd be great in NWA.
I think he would probably be perfect in NWA, and maybe that being on a smaller scale might help him to keep himself in check with his demons.
And let's be honest, he's Canadian. He's super talented. Impact Wrestling, Canadian company. They're big on talent over. Well, they're big on storyline too. I mean, he's an asset on camera to any company. You just have to weigh that. He has his problems. Where do we see him being? Do we invest in him or not? But yeah, I agree. I think Ring of Honor, NWA, and Impact, the 3 smallest major promotions, all three of them would benefit largely from it. I think WWE, AEW need to stay away from him. I don't think he's worth the risk.
No, he's not the right style for AEW. Granted, he could bring a good diversity to the roster. I just don't see that as a home for him. WWE, I think he would self-destruct if that's the case.
Yeah. Sad.
Yep.
Sad that he's left this hole in MLW.
Yeah.
Because MLW's been doing so great. But there's always an end of the rainbow, Pasty.
The grass is always greener. Just as the leaves fall from the trees. Actually, that's probably when it's the least green, but whatever. Because the leaves fall from the trees to plant new seeds of life. So too does Major League Wrestling bring in new lifeblood in lieu of the departing Hart as ACH return to MLW at Thursday's Opera Cup.
Woo!
Court Bauer added later, known for bombarding adversaries with a variety of 450 splashes and signature moves like Dragon Ball Z, ACH is a powerhouse anime character come to life, wowing crowds around the world. The Austin, Texas native is a dynamic athlete, combining the uncanny agility with blistering strikes. ACH is the evolution of the modern-day fighter.
Yeah. Well, it didn't take him long to find a company. We were worried about how his reputation might hold him back, but
right.
Guess
in his I Quit promo, man, he said he was a superhero. Yeah, the Merc with the mouth.
But
whoa, that's a layered joke, and I didn't even realize it. Oh.
I can't help though, Pasty, but look at these two stories that we've just talked to back and back. Did they just replace a super talented performer who has major issues behind the scene with a super talented performer who has major issues behind the scene?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
What does that mean here?
I don't know, but it's your albatross to bear.
That is my albatross to bear. I just cannot think of all of the amazing matches we're going to get in MLW with ACH. So I super excited to see him there. I'm super excited to see him on TV right away.
Is he going to run on his own, or is he going to?
I think legally it's awesome that he is there, and WWE just completely washed their hands without any kind of non-compete clause or anything. That is, wow.
That's going to speak volumes to some people in the WWE locker room.
Who have gotten months added on.
Which will indeed bring better news in the future of B6 podcast. So all is good in the world.
Oh, yeah. But I'm sitting here thinking, you got ACH in MLW. That means we can see ACH versus Low Key, ACH versus LA Park, ACH versus Brian Pillman, ACH versus the Von Erichs, MJF, Jimmy Havoc, Austin Aries. Oh my gosh. You got Cotto Brazil. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh, Septimo Dragon, Airwolf, Hijo de LA Park, Puma King. Like, oh my gosh. I'm excited for this. I just worry that
Maybe Hart didn't want to go. Maybe they're like, oh, we're hiring ACH back, and we only have room for so many guys. And Austin Aries kind of just got here, so...
Awkward! I mean, we like you, but we don't really like you. That's funny. I like that, Pasty. I mean, he doesn't like it, but I like that. I think it's fun.
Impact Wrestling has brought David Shahadi to work behind the scenes. Shahadi has a long history with former TNA, having previously worked there from 2006 until 2017. Dave threw a little shade AEW's way, tweeting in 2020, Impact Wrestling is going to give wrestling fans something they have long desired and something AEW promised, but never delivered. change.
Well, it's kind of an awkward